Doing nail extensions with soft gel tips on perfect straight growing in the same direction as nails is pretty simple, but sometimes we need to deal with the nails that are growing downwards. I would like to show you a simple trick on how to do extensions on the nails like this without making them look like a claws. Also, I will try my new electric nail file by Delanie. It is a small portable electric nail file. Honestly, I cannot really imagine a single workday of the nail technician today without an e-file, because we use it for everything. So we're going to put it to the test and try product removal, dry manicure, new extensions, and also I will show you a cool nail art. We have a lot to cover in this episode. Let's start with a little unpacking. As usual, we have a lovely message here, thank you for your purchase, and a manual where you can find some details on how to turn it on and how to use it. And this is Delanie electric nail file. It's rather compact, about the size of the iPhone 14, and if you guys know, this is one of my favorite colors. Finally, I have a purple nail drill. Once you charge it, you can use it for 8 hours without the need to charge it again, which means you can easily use it on the go for mobile services or file and shape your nails as you're chilling by the pool. I tried it and yes, it feels great. The kit also includes additional pink colored sand bands and a little kit of diamond beads. I also like that they included this handle because it's super convenient to put your handpiece on it as you're working on it. Now let's try how it works. I need to remove my old product, which means I'm going to use almost the top speed, at least 30,000 rotations per minute. I have gel nails and I'm going to file them off completely because I would like to get a new extensions. I decided to use ceramic drill bit with blue abrasive mark. Usually it's enough for hard gel nails. And first of all, I am impressed on how quiet this e-file works. And also it is doing its job. As you can see, it's not taking me too long to remove one nail. By the way, this is the only way to remove hard gel nails because you cannot soak them off. It's not acrylic. So with certain brands of polygel and with all hard gels, the only method of removal is filing them off. Alright, my nails are off. I always leave a little layer of the product. I'm not going to file it off completely, so this test drive was definitely passed. And let's proceed to the new extensions. This is my client. We just took off the regular nail polish and yes, it was blue. That's why her nails look a little bluish at the moment, but we're going to fix it quickly. First, I need to file her free edge short and we're going to do soft gel extensions. One of her nails is growing downwards and I will show you a trick of how we can overcome this problem, and the new nail is not going to look downwards. I will slightly push back her cuticles with orange wood stick, and now it's time for a prep and dry manicure. I set the speed for 17,000 rotations per minute, forward mode. I'm using a flame-shaped diamond bead with red abrasive mark to push back the cuticles, to clean the sidewalls, to get rid of hangnails if we have any, and this is how I'm doing manicure and prep at the same time. As you may know, one of the most important parts of the nail prep is taking off the surface shine. And it's pretty simple to do that with a hand file in the middle of the nail, but it's hard to reach these furthest areas near the cuticles and along the sidewalls. And sometimes it's nearly impossible to do this with a hand file. So whenever you are doing dry manicure with electric nail file, you will take off the surface shine from these areas already, so there's no need to do it again with a hand file. I just realized that I'm in this industry for almost 20 years now, and I used electric nail file almost since day one. They were not as good back then, by the way. Then I switched to reverse mode. You do not need to stop your e-file, you just switch to reverse, it will automatically stop it for you. And then I set the same speed, which is 17,000 rotations per minute, and then I work on the opposite side. Sometimes I get this question from you guys, can you use only one direction? Is it necessary to switch to reverse mode? No, you can use only one direction if this is more comfortable for you, but I personally prefer to use both because I don't need to move my hand that much if I switch the direction as I move to the opposite side. Then I took off the surface shine with 180 grit buffer, and I'm going to trim cuticles and a little bit of dry skin from Unpacking to make them clean and ready for extensions. Dry manicure test for Delanie nail file was passed too. As you can see, we have beautiful clean manicure. Let's do extensions now. I apply dehydrator and non-acid primer, and we also need to apply a thin coat of the base coat for a better adhesion and cure it in LED for 30 seconds. Then it's time to apply the tips, and first you need to choose the size that is perfectly matching. Then you use some gel on it. Most of the time I use this method with a little margin from the cuticle, because this is how I can add some product later to this area and it will not be visible as they grow longer. Most of the nails of this client are regular, so it's not hard, but her index finger is growing downwards a lot, and this is what we're going to do about it. So I applied base coat as usual, and then I take the tip and apply the gel on this tip also as usual. And as I'm going to apply it, if you do it how you normally do, you will notice that whether the tip is leaning downwards like the nail, but most of the times you will simply see some bubbles. This is what you need to do. Press on the center of the tip and do not worry about this big bubble near the cuticle. Yes, this one. It's totally fine, because if you will try to avoid this bubble and fill it with gel, you will rather have too much gel on the nail and it will be going outside of the sidewalls, or you will apply the tip the same way as the nail is growing. So the only way to apply it straight is to leave this little area with the air inside, and yes, it's totally fine. I will show you in a few moments on how we are going to fix it. Then I slightly shape the nails. We need to get rid of this little dots that we have on the free edge. Then I'm going to file off the numbers underneath, because I want it to be super clear, because the design I'm about to do needs to have a transparent free edge. And also, if you have some leftovers of the gel underneath, you can clean it using electric nail file and carbide bead as well. Then I'm going to file this area near the cuticle. I'm using a carbide bead with green abrasive mark, and the speed is 25,000 rotations per minute. It's super important to file only the tip, not the nail. So once you get to the nail with this bubble, you are going to simply file it off. And this is how we would not need to worry about this bubble anymore, because we are going to fill this space with the gel later. It's super easy to do that as long as you're using carbide bead and electric nail file. It's not going to take you more than 5 minutes. Now we do not have tips near the cuticles, but that's fine, because we're going to fill them with gel. You can use thick consistency base coats, you can use builder gel to do this, or any kind of soft gel. But I recommend you to use the product which is at least medium consistency, because if it's too thin or too runny, it will simply not be too comfortable for you to apply it. So first I apply one slippery coat, I do not cure it, and then I apply more near the cuticle. This is the index finger, the one where we have almost half of the nail is missing the product. So I apply this gel first, and you can see that this area near the cuticle is not super even, because we do not have a tip there. So make sure that gel is covering the entire nail first, do not cure it. And then we only need to fill this space near the cuticle and a little further. I prefer using detailer brush because it's easy to control the product this way. So I fill the product right here, and it's important to not cure the gel that is on the bottom now, because it will be super easy to self-level it. And also, I'm not going to file or shape the nails later, because I just prefer to skip this step. I mean, why should you do that if you can just avoid doing that? Then I need to seal the nails from underneath, because we've been filing them a little and they are not going to look like a transparent glass. And then when you cure it, also tell your client to hold the palm up so they will not flood the underneath of the nail. And now it's time to do the design. We already have beautiful clear nails, and I'm going to hand paint the nail bed with this beautiful green and silver glitter gel polish, and I'm going to leave the free edge transparent. I had this idea for so long, and finally I get to do it on my client. First I used the brush from the bottle to apply it on the nail, and then with a detailer brush I get closer to the cuticle, to the sidewalls, and also add details to the smile line. If you would like to try this design too, but you're worried that French nails and crisp smile lines is not really your thing, do not worry. It's much easier to do it this way compared to a traditional way of doing smile line. Well, at least in my opinion. Let me know if you agree, by the way, because I just wonder, maybe for some people it might be harder. This particular color seems like have enough coverage, so it looks pretty with one coat, but we would like to have them a little darker, so I add a little bit of the second coat. And then this is the accent I wanted to do. I'm going to draw a thin line on the free edge of the nail, so we will have some kind of the frame. Normally when you do clear tips on the nails, they look so pretty on the photos, on the videos, but in the real life it looks like you just have short nails because this clear part is not going to be visible. So this is how we're going to fix that, by adding this little thin line as the outline, as the frame of the nail. I think this design is going to look much better. I would also love to add some marbly look on the nail bed area, and to do that I applied a thin coat of the base coat and I did not cure it. Then I took some white mixed with the base coat to make it a bit milky and transparent, and then I add some abstract strokes to make it look a little bit like the space or an abstract. And I will also add some accents with a mint color, which is also mixed with the base coat to make it look more watery. And finally, with a tiny amount of white gel polish, I'm going to add some abstract lines to make it look a little bit like marble. And now the only thing that is missing here is a little bit more sparkles. And yes, we already have some on the background, but I would like to add this little green flakes in the middle, and now it is going to look like a space French nails. They're super thin, so I'm not worried about adding some extra volume, and then we cure it and seal it with a glossy top coat. Link to the Delanie electric nail file that I used in this video will be in the description box as usual. And thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this nail hack and the nail art we just did, and I will see you in my next video.